Hello, I'm Sergeant Alan Green from the West Midlands Police. When you think of justice, you probably think of somewhere like this, a courtroom. However, in the West Midlands, we're trying something different. We're taking justice beyond the courtroom. Restorative justice is when the victims and offenders meet in a structured face-to-face conference. It's a concept that seems strange to some people. However, our pilot has shown some amazing results for both parties. Offenders, and more importantly the victims, are seeing some tremendous benefits. Victims such as Linda.
Yeah, I know.
Linda was burgled while she was out with her husband shopping. The man responsible served a long prison sentence. How did that make you feel on the day when you found out you'd been burgled?
He'd taken every piece of jewellery that I owned, even rubbish. To me they were priceless, to him probably they were worthless. And I think that upset me more than anything. Then I started to get really angry. You know, the fact that, is he down the pub selling my treasures? You know, which to me they were treasures. Because like I'm disabled, I was afraid to be left in the house on my own. That really, really frightened me.
When Tom spoke to you about trying restorative justice, what was your first thoughts?
I wanted to meet the person that would actually come into my home and do these things to me. I mean, the first thing I said to Tom was, can I give him a good slap? I was gobsmacked when I saw him because I just could not imagine the person that I saw doing what he did. His initial reaction was, well, basically, it's what I do. He said, no, he said, had you been in the house when I broke through your door, he said, and you come towards me, he said, I would have run. It made me feel a lot better. I felt a lot safer because I was always under the impression that every burglar comes into your house armed. If ever anything like that happens to you and you get the chance to meet the person, do it. Because it makes you feel so much better yourself. It gives you a different insight into how other people are. And not everybody is the same.
Linda can't speak highly enough of restorative justice. She's just one of many singing its praises. That's really powerful. PC Tom Hemming was the person who introduced Linda to her burglar.
First of all was the thing that everybody wants is an apology, first and foremost, which is quite an easy one. Chris was quite apologetic for his actions. And then he agreed to write a list of crime prevention advice for her.
Would you do it again for similar circumstances, or would you use it elsewhere?
If I got the opportunity to do it for different victims of crime, I would not hesitate.
Over in Newtown, a new youth centre called the Lighthouse has recently opened, but staff were left devastated when expensive windows were repeatedly broken. Youth worker Desta knew she had to take action but wasn't keen on police involvement. She opted for restorative justice. How was it dealt with on the day?
We'd gone into a conference room, I can't remember what for, and looked, and because of the blinds as well, we didn't actually realise the window was broken until we were looking at the blinds and lifted it up and saw that the window was broken. So we checked back on the CCTV and saw that it was young people that we knew that had been out there. Being a youth worker, we don't want to criminalise young people. We'd rather sit down and talk through the issue and try and find a way to work it out. But because it had been the third window, it was kind of a management decision that we need to inform the police. I was slightly sceptical because I wasn't sure what we sometimes find as youth workers when other adults that don't have a youth work background come into a situation with young people. It's not always handled in a young people friendly manner. Although I was willing to try something, I'd never done it before, so I was more than willing to try and see what the outcome would be.
Can you tell me a bit more about how the conference ran on the day and what was spoken about and what was agreed?
It was like being in the counselling session. I didn't expect to be involved in a piece of work with a police officer and a young person that would end so positively. I didn't know what led up to the window being broken, and that young person never actually admitted that he broke the window. That was the first time he'd sat in my face and admitted that he broke the window. So it made me understand a little bit more. It doesn't justify it, but it made me understand that he wasn't in a good place that day. It was brilliant, and I was able to then talk to him and tell him exactly how I was feeling, how it made the staff here feel. And I don't think he'd realised the effect of what he'd done. It was just a broken window. It was like a revelation to me, all these things and thoughts that were going through his head that I never thought he was thinking, and also giving me the space to say to him how disappointed I was. I think it's an amazing process, and it's great that young people are able to take part in it rather than going down the route of being criminalised. I'm not sure, I have my own views. I'm not sure that the criminal justice system is working for young people, but I do think this route is definitely something that can work for young people.
The pilot in Birmingham has been extremely successful. Even our own officers are starting to recognise the benefits of restorative justice. PC Harry Matheru was subjected to sickening racial abuse when he arrested someone at a domestic incident with his partner, PC Sherry Watkins. Although hesitant and reluctant at first, they decided to give restorative justice a go.
We get things said to us all the time. It's not right, but the odd word here and there, you tend to sort of brush it off. But this was constant, and it was just everything you could think of, all the racism words against me you could think of. He was saying it was vile. My reaction straight away was negative. I said, no chance. But he told me a few circumstances towards it, his remorse and how he was in the interview and what he said back. And he goes, we think restorative justice would work on this.
I think I didn't really understand the whole restorative justice and what it was and what we were looking to achieve out of it, and then until it was explained properly, and then I said to Harry, I said, okay, then we'll give it a go. He walked into this room and he was all hunched up and he just looked timid as a mouse, and he was sat there like, he just looked like he wanted to be anywhere else but in that room. I've never seen someone look so uncomfortable in all my life, which, was a little boost. I'm not going to lie, I actually sat there and thought, good. The lady who was doing it, PC Denby Knight, she sat there and got us to do an account each, and he had to sit there and listen, and she asked me to use the words that he'd used towards myself and Harry. And as I was saying it to him, he was physically flinching. It was like I was hitting him with these words, and he was so upset.
We're saying these words, what he used on us, we're not inventing these, it's all on paper. And as we're saying it to him, he's flinching each time as if someone's hitting him. He physically couldn't take the words. When a case goes to court, all you actually hear from both parties are the facts of what happened that day. With this RJ conference, you get to talk further than that. You get to talk about the facts, but you get to talk about each other's feelings, all the victims' feelings, and also the harmer's feelings, which I think has a greater impact on than just talking to a barrister or a judge about it.
He did say at the time, I spoke to some of my friends, and they've been arrested, they've been to prison before, and he said he'd explained what we were looking to do, and his friends have gone, can't do that, I wouldn't do that, just go to jail, it's a lot easier.
It's easier.
And he sat there and went, do you know what, it would have been. It's quite good to sit there and actually look someone in the eye and see them squirm. It is a little bit, it just makes you feel a little bit.
But it makes them understand the error of their ways, rather than just go to court and receive a small fine or whatever punishment they're going to get. I don't think he'd be doing anything like that again, would he?
It was a moral victory.
Yeah.
That day.
Yeah, it worked for everybody.
Yeah.
Restorative justice isn't here to replace court. Where people need to be arrested and sent to court, this will continue to happen. It's not suitable for everyone or every situation. However, when it does work, it is incredibly powerful and life-changing for victims and offenders.